Welcome back, treasure hunters and coin lovers, to another heart-stopping episode of True Coin Value, the channel where legends come alive, hidden treasures rise from the shadows, and history itself puts dollars directly into your pocket. Today, my friends, we are diving deep into the world of American coinage, where small, humble nickels can transform into unimaginable fortunes. You might think you know the value of 5 cents, but when I tell you about the ultra-rare buffalo nickels up for grabs in today's market, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. We're not talking about coins you toss into a fountain or find in a dusty drawer. We are talking about treasures of steel and silver, forged more than a century ago, carrying stories of America's wild past, and now commanding prices so high that they can change a person's life in one instant. And trust me when I say this, the 6 coins I reveal today aren't just collectibles. They are pure gold mines of opportunity, one after another, and every single one of them is making waves in the auction world right now. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you will realize you are not just looking at coins, you are staring straight at a fortune that could be hiding in someone's pocket, maybe even in yours. And remember, here at True Coin Value, we bring you faithful, fact-checked, up-to-the-minute truths about the coin market every single day. This is not fiction. This is real. And today's lineup is nothing short of legendary. Now, let's jump into the very first treasure of the day. Coin number 1. Let's begin with one of the most iconic and spine-tingling discoveries in American numismatic history, the 1913 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark. This coin is more than just metal. It's a relic of a bold new chapter in American design, a coin that carries within its very surface the strength, the heritage, and the soul of a young nation. The Buffalo nickel was introduced in 1913, a groundbreaking design created by sculptor James Earl Fraser. Fraser wanted to capture the true spirit of the American West, not through symbols of commerce or government, but through the people and the wildlife that built the nation's story. On one side of the coin, we see a proud Native American chief, not as a caricature, but in striking detail drawn from the profiles of several real leaders of the Plains tribes. On the reverse, the powerful American buffalo, a creature that once roamed in uncountable numbers, now stands frozen in time, embodying resilience, freedom, and untamed strength. This particular 1913 issue, without a mint mark, belongs to the very earliest strikes. That means it was among the very first waves of buffalo nickels ever minted, straight out of the Philadelphia Mint. And here's where the suspense thickens. The coin we're talking about is not flawless, not polished, not hidden away in some glass case, untouched by time. No, this one shows black spotting and unclear surfaces, the scars of age and history itself. Yet, collectors chase it with passion, because imperfections only add to its mystique. It's like holding a piece of living history, where every mark tells its own untold story. What makes this coin so incredibly rare is not just its age, not just its design, but its scarcity. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of nickels in 1913, but finding one today in any condition that has survived a century of circulation is like finding a needle in the desert. Most were worn down, lost to pockets, melted away, or simply destroyed over time. But here, we have one that has emerged, still intact, still bearing witness to its origins, and still whispering the secrets of 1913 America. Collectors across the globe keep their eyes wide open for this coin because demand is relentless. Rarity pushes the bidding wars higher and higher, and every auction becomes a battlefield where only the most determined and deep-pocketed collectors succeed. And here's the jaw-dropping truth. The current market value of this single nickel, this 5-cent piece with its black spot and its blurred features, is standing today at a staggering $208,000. Yes, you heard me right. $208,000 for a nickel that once could buy you a loaf of bread. That's not just money. That's life-changing treasure. The kind of fortune that makes you realize how powerful and explosive the coin market truly is. This is the kind of coin that can turn any ordinary person into a millionaire in the making, because its value is not stagnant. It is rising, it is climbing, it is skyrocketing day after day. So if you are a collector, listen carefully. This is not just a coin you buy, this is a coin you invest in. The Buffalo Nickel 1913 without a mint mark is like holding a stock of history that only appreciates over time. Every year, as fewer and fewer examples remain, the price climbs higher, and the market only grows more competitive. And here's my advice to serious collectors out there. Never underestimate the power of condition. Even coins like this one, with spotting and unclear marks, hold their value at astronomical levels. But if you ever come across a Buffalo Nickel from 1913 in sharper detail, clean and well-preserved, prepare yourself, because those can break auction records without hesitation. To conclude this first treasure on our list, this Buffalo Nickel is not just a collectible. It's a key to a fortune. It's a slice of American history that brings not just pride, but prosperity to whoever holds it. Imagine having this coin in your collection. You don't just own metal, you own a piece of the American dream, a relic worth hundreds of thousands today and destined to climb even higher tomorrow. Next, coin number 2. Now, treasure hunters, after witnessing the staggering fortune hidden inside the 1913 Buffalo Nickel, you might think you've seen the height of numismatic power. But trust me when I tell you the next coin on today's journey is every bit as legendary. In fact, its story carries a heartbeat of history and a pulse of rarity so strong that collectors fight tooth and nail to claim it. Let's move forward in time to the roaring 1920s, an era of jazz, prohibition, flappers, and a nation dancing on the edge of change. Amid all this, the Buffalo Nickel still roamed in pockets across America, symbolizing resilience and progress. And in the year 1925, the Philadelphia Mint struck a version that would, almost a century later, shine as one of the rarest, most desirable nickels in the auction world. This, my friends, is the 1925 Buffalo Nickel with the Philadelphia P mint mark. At first glance, you might think it is just another piece of change. But take a closer look, its story is one of survival, scarcity, and skyrocketing demand. Let's begin with its design. Just like its older 1913 brother, this coin bears the proud profile of a Native American chief on the obverse, a face drawn from real-life tribal leaders of the plains, sculpted by James Earl Fraser. It is a portrait of strength, heritage, and dignity, immortalized forever on a small piece of nickel and copper alloy. On the reverse, that iconic American buffalo still stands, massive, strong, untamed. But here's where the 1925 issue separates itself. Its strike quality was notoriously weak. The Philadelphia Mint that year produced nickels that often lacked crisp detail, leaving many coins worn and soft in design. That weakness in striking made survival of well-defined examples incredibly rare. Now, let's talk about condition. The piece we're highlighting today isn't just a survivor, it has reached us in very fine condition, meaning its details are still visible, its features still command respect, and its age shows with grace, not with ruin. For a 1925 P Buffalo Nickel, this is nothing short of miraculous. Every curve of the Native American's cheek, every strand of hair, every line etched into the buffalo's powerful body tells us this coin has lived through decades but has held onto its beauty. But what really ignites fire in the hearts of collectors is the rarity factor. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions in 1925, but because of the weak strikes and the heavy use in circulation, very few high-quality examples exist today. Imagine out of countless nickels that changed hands in stores, trains, and saloons of the 1920s, only a tiny fraction have survived into our century in conditions worthy of collectors' attention. That's why when one of these 1925 P nickels surfaces in very fine or better shape, the demand instantly overwhelms the market. And here comes the thunder. This very coin we're spotlighting today carries a jaw-dropping current market value of $186,000. Yes, $186,000 for a nickel that originally left the Philadelphia Mint almost a century ago, worth just 5 cents. That's not just appreciation, that's transformation. That's what we call overnight treasure. Think about it. Holding this coin is like holding a passport into another reality. This isn't pocket change. This isn't loose coinage. This is pure wealth compacted into a 5-cent piece. A treasure chest, small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, yet large enough to shake entire auction houses when it appears for bidding. And here's the truth you need to remember. The market for Buffalo nickels is growing hotter every single day. The 1925 Philadelphia issue, especially in very fine or higher grades, continues to climb. The demand curve doesn't flatten, it rises. Collectors worldwide are competing to secure pieces like this because they know time will only make them scarcer, and scarcity fuels value. So if you are a collector, this coin is not just a purchase, it's an investment in a rising treasure. Here's a tip straight from True Coin Value. If you're ever examining Buffalo nickels from the 1920s, pay close attention to the strike. Weak strikes can reduce appeal, but coins that defy the odds with visible details command staggering premiums. And never overlook condition, because every tiny detail preserved is another dollar added to your treasure chest. So let's conclude this second legend of today's journey. The 1925 P Buffalo nickel, in very fine condition, is not just a coin. It is an icon of survival, a testament to history, and a fortune disguised as a simple 5-cent piece. With a value of $186,000 and growing, it stands as proof that treasures don't only live in fairy tales. They live in your hands, your pockets, and in the heart of collectors who know how to look. Next coin number 3. Now, buckle up, treasure seekers, because the story of our third coin is nothing short of electrifying. If the first 2 coins on this journey felt like once-in-a-lifetime finds, then what you are about to hear will send chills down your spine. We're stepping into the mid-1930s, a time when America was clawing its way out of the Great Depression, when every single coin in circulation carried not just monetary value, but the very lifeline of survival. And hidden in that era of struggle came one of the most pursued rarities in all of numismatics, the 1934 D Buffalo nickel. Let's set the stage. It's 1934. The country is reeling from years of hardship. Banks are recovering, and jobs are scarce. Money wasn't just spent, it was stretched, guarded, and treasured. Coins like the Buffalo nickel weren't collector's items back then, they were daily essentials. But within the millions of nickels passing through hands, a certain issue out of Denver, the one with the proud little D mint mark, would eventually rise to the ranks of legendary rarity. Once again, we see James Earl Fraser's timeless design, the bold profile of a Native American chief on the obverse, drawn from the combined likenesses of 3 real-life leaders, each detail carved into the coin as a living monument of history. On the reverse, the great American buffalo stands, a symbol of the wilderness, of untamed strength, of survival against the odds. But here's the twist. The Denver Mint's 1934 production was comparatively smaller, and the coins that did survive were heavily used in circulation. That means examples with lasting detail, even just in fine condition, like the one before us, are already treasures of immense demand. And yes, you heard me correctly. This coin today bears brown spots, visible signs of its long journey through history. But make no mistake, those very imperfections are part of what makes this nickel fascinating. Each mark is a fingerprint of time, a scar that proves authenticity, a symbol that this is not just a museum piece, but a true survivor of America's hardest years. Now let us talk rarity. The 1934 with D is not an easy coin to find. Many were melted down, lost in circulation, or simply worn to oblivion. Collectors know this, and they hunt it relentlessly. Fine condition examples like this one are snapped up at lightning speed, because they strike the perfect balance between history and affordability, or at least what used to be called affordability. Today, that word doesn't apply anymore, because this coin has become a firestorm in the auction world. And here comes the revelation you've been waiting for. The current market value of this 1934 with D Buffalo nickel in fine condition, brown spots and all, is standing at a jaw-dropping $176,000. That's right, $176,000 for a nickel that once clinked inside the pocket of someone living through the Depression. That's not just valuable. That's a fortune compressed into metal, a treasure chest condensed into 5 cents worth of history. Think about it. What once carried the weight of a loaf of bread or a train fare has now become the kind of treasure that can make you feel like you are holding an empire in your palm. And this isn't speculation. This isn't fantasy. This is the real, living truth of the coin market today. Values are climbing, and they are climbing fast. Coins like the 1934 with D are not slowing down. They're racing forward, pushing higher and higher in value as collectors realize just how scarce and irreplaceable they are. Here's my tip for all you collectors watching. When it comes to Buffalo nickels from the 1930s, always check for that D Mint mark. The Denver Mint issues often carry far greater scarcity than their Philadelphia counterparts, and condition even fine or very fine can put you in the presence of treasure. Don't shy away from coins with minor imperfections like spotting. The market is proving time and again that authenticity, history, and rarity outweigh surface flaws when demand is this hot. So, to wrap up this third masterpiece in today's showcase, the 1934 with D Buffalo nickel is not just a coin. It is a survivor of America's toughest days, a treasure born from hardship, and a fortune disguised as a piece of everyday change. With a value of $176,000 and climbing, it proves once again that in the world of numismatics, legends are real, treasures are within reach, and sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest power. Next coin number 4. Treasure seekers, we have already seen coins scarred by time, marked by history, and still commanding fortunes beyond imagination. But now we step into another dimension of collecting power. Imagine holding a coin that never truly lived in circulation, one that escaped the wear and tear of pockets, counters, and cash registers. Imagine a piece of history so well preserved that it seems frozen in time, as if it had been waiting all these years for the right person to claim it. That, my friends, is the power of 1936 with D Buffalo nickel in uncirculated condition. Let's travel back to 1936, a year that stood at the crossroads of American resilience. The Great Depression was finally showing signs of easing. Optimism was returning, and the Denver Mint was striking buffalo nickels that would unknowingly become some of the most coveted treasures of future generations. At the time, these nickels were just money, 5 cents to spend on daily life. But today, they are fortunes, hiding in plain sight. And when we talk about 1936 with D issue, we're not just talking about any old nickel. This coin carries the Denver Mint's signature D mark, and as collectors know, the Denver Mint's buffalo nickels are among the most fiercely pursued in the entire series. But the true magic here isn't just the mint mark, it's the condition. Yes, this very coin survived in uncirculated condition. That means it never endured the friction of hands, the clinking in jars, the heavy use that wiped details from millions of others. Instead, it remained pristine, untouched, waiting patiently through decades. Imagine that. Every strand of hair on the Native American profile is visible. Every muscle line on the mighty buffalo, still sharp and strong, every curve and strike preserved with crisp clarity. It's as if James Earl Fraser himself just handed it to you fresh from the dies. Now let's talk about why this matters. Condition is everything in numismatics. While fine or very fine coins already fetch incredible sums, an uncirculated specimen transcends all expectations. It's not just rare, it's elite. Collectors understand that once a coin survives for nearly a century without ever being spent, it enters a realm of value that only grows stronger with each passing year. And the rarity of this particular issue cannot be overstated. The Denver Mint struck these nickels in 1936, but survival in top-tier condition is astonishingly low. Most were used, worn, and destroyed. To find one uncirculated is like discovering a time capsule, a window into the past, a flawless survivor that defies the odds. Now here comes the moment of truth. The current market value of the 1936 with D Buffalo nickel in uncirculated condition is an astounding $170,000. $170,000 for a nickel. Think about what that means. A coin so small, so humble, so ordinary at first glance has become a treasure chest in itself. This isn't just wealth, it's a fortune that represents history, rarity, and prestige all at once. And here's the truth. The market for uncirculated buffalo nickels is blazing hot. These coins are climbing in value at a pace that makes collectors' hearts race. Every year, every auction, the bidding wars intensify. Why? Because time is running out. There are only so many uncirculated survivors left. Each one that comes to light sends shockwaves through the collector's market, and the prices respond immediately. Here's my collector's tip from True Coin Value. Always keep your eyes open for mint state buffalo nickels. Even if they look too clean to be true, get them authenticated, because uncirculated specimens are where fortunes are made. And when you find one with that bold D mark from Denver, you may just be holding a six-figure treasure in your hand. So to close the story of this fourth marvel on our list, the 1936 D Buffalo nickel in uncirculated condition isn't just a coin, it's a monument. A flawless survivor of history, a shining relic of America's past, and a fortune worth $170,000 today, with the potential to grow even higher tomorrow. This is no myth, no exaggeration. This is the truth of the coin market. It's living proof that treasures can be hidden in plain sight, waiting for the faithful eye to uncover them. Next coin, number 5. Now, treasure hunters, get ready, because the fifth coin on our journey takes us even deeper into the roots of American numismatic history. If the last few coins felt like fortune wrapped in steel, then this one feels like you are literally holding the heartbeat of a nation in your palm. We're going back more than a century to the year 1917, when the Buffalo nickel was still new, bold, and blazing its way into American pockets. Picture this. It is the World War I era. America is stepping onto the global stage. Industries are roaring, soldiers are marching, and the very identity of the nation is being reshaped. In the midst of this, the Philadelphia Mint was striking the Buffalo nickel, a coin that embodied the American spirit like no other. And among those issues, the year 1917 without a mint mark has become one of the most captivating treasures ever to emerge from that era. As always, we see James Earl Fraser's unforgettable design, the proud Native American portrait on the obverse, detailed and dignified, carrying the weight of entire nations within his gaze. On the reverse, the mighty American buffalo, symbol of endurance, resilience, and untamed wilderness, standing firm against time. But here's the twist. The example before us is not pristine, not untouched. It's a coin that lived, truly lived, in the pockets of real Americans. Yes, this coin comes to us in circulated condition, bearing the green spots of age and environment. These aren't flaws, they're evidence of history. They're the patina of time itself, showing us that this coin didn't just sit behind glass. It passed through hands. It carried value. It touched lives during one of the most turbulent decades of American history. Every scar, every mark, every shade of green is a living fingerprint of its century-long journey. And yet, despite its wear, despite its visible age, collectors crave this coin with an unshakable hunger. Why? Because 1917 issues without a mint mark are exceptionally rare in today's market. So many were lost, destroyed, or worn into oblivion that finding one today, even in circulated condition, is an achievement of treasure-hunting mastery. And here's the moment that turns this from a story into a thunderclap. The current market value of this single 1917 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, in circulated condition with green spotting, is an eye-popping $193,000. Yes, $193,000. Think about that for a second. A coin worth 5 cents in 1917 has transformed into a six-figure fortune in today's market. That's not just value, that's destiny. That's treasure, plain and simple. And let me make something crystal clear. This isn't speculation. This isn't a fairy tale. The market is on fire for these coins. Demand is rising, values are climbing, and every auction proves it. What you're seeing here is a treasure that doesn't just hold its value, it grows with time, like a living investment passed down through generations. Collectors, here's your tip straight from True Coin Value. Never dismiss a coin just because it shows circulation. In fact, circulated pieces with authentic patina and history often become more desirable because they carry real character. But here's the golden rule. Always authenticate, always preserve, and never underestimate the power of age. The 1917 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark is proof that even a worn coin can carry the wealth of an empire. So, to conclude this fifth marvel, this isn't just metal. It's a living relic of World War I America, a survivor of time. A coin that proves treasure doesn't always shine. Sometimes it bears the green marks of history. And today, with a value of $193,000 and rising, it stands as undeniable proof that true fortune can be hidden in the smallest corners of history. And remember, here at True Coin Value, we bring you the freshest, most trustworthy truths every single day. We don't deal in fantasy. We deal in facts, in treasures, in opportunities that are unfolding right now. And believe me when I say, the final coin on today's list may just be the crown jewel that ties it all together. Next coin, number 6. And now, treasure hunters, we have reached the climax of today's journey. 5 treasures have already shaken the ground beneath us, but this 6th and final coin, oh, this one is something extraordinary. A coin born in the heart of the Roaring Twenties, forged in an age of jazz, speakeasies, and unstoppable energy, yet carrying within it a mystery, a rarity, and a value that will leave you stunned. This is the 1927 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark. Let's step back into 1927 for a moment. The country was booming, skyscrapers climbing, automobiles roaring, and the Buffalo nickel still proudly circulating through the hands of everyday Americans. Minted in Philadelphia, the no-mint mark nickels of this year weren't considered anything special at the time. They were spent on meals, on rides, on daily necessities. Nobody could have guessed that nearly a century later, a single surviving example could transform into a treasure worth a king's ransom. James Earl Fraser's masterpiece design is here once again, the noble Native American portrait on the obverse, a timeless tribute to heritage, courage, and dignity. On the reverse, the mighty buffalo standing in power, embodying the untamed wilderness of the American frontier. But the particular coin before us today tells a story not of perfection, but of survival. This 1927 issue has endured decades in circulation. It bears green spots from age, its details blurred by time, its condition unclear at best. Yet these very traits make it a relic, not polished, not sterilized, but authentic. Every scar, every faded line, every mark whispers of countless hands that once held it, countless stories it silently traveled through. It's not a coin that lived in a collector's cabinet. It's a coin that lived in the real world, and that's where its magic lies. Now, rarity. The 1927 Philadelphia minted Buffalo nickels are already scarce in well-preserved condition. Most have vanished, melted down, or worn away into anonymity. Finding one today that has survived, even with unclear surfaces and spotting, is an achievement that collectors chase with burning desire. Why? Because every year, fewer and fewer examples appear, and the demand grows hotter with each auction. And here comes the revelation, the thunder that seals today's journey. The current market value of this single 1927 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, green spots and all, is a staggering $185,000. Yes, $185,000 for a coin once worth only 5 cents. That's not just appreciation, that's transformation into pure treasure. This is wealth in its most astonishing form, the kind of fortune that proves true treasure doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it hides behind scars, patina, and mystery. Think about this for a moment. A coin in unclear condition, worn by history, spotted by age, still commands nearly $200,000 in today's market. That's not hype, that's reality. The coin world is on fire, and pieces like this are the fuel. And here's the truth you need to hold on to. This value is not static. It's climbing, rising like a tide that only goes higher. Wait for time, and it will grow even greater, because coins like the 1927 Buffalo nickel are treasures the world is running out of. Collectors, here is my tip. Never dismiss a coin because of condition. While perfection dazzles, it is survival and scarcity that truly drive fortune. When you see a Buffalo nickel from 1927 without a mint mark, don't look at the flaws. Look at the history, the rarity, the treasure hidden beneath. Because as today's market proves, even an unclear, spotted survivor can make you rich beyond imagination. So let's close this 6th and final chapter. The 1927 Buffalo nickel is more than a coin. It is a relic of the Roaring Twenties, a treasure carried through the storms of time, a survivor that now rewards its finder with the wealth of a lifetime. With a value of $185,000 and climbing, it stands as living proof that treasures are real and they are closer than most people ever dream. And remember, here on True Coin Value, we bring you faithful, fact-checked, and freshly updated truths about the coin market every single day. What you've seen today is no fiction. It's the reality of treasure hunting in the modern age. 6 buffalo nickels, 6 fortunes, 6 legends of history and wealth. And who knows, the next great treasure could be sitting in your collection right now. Stay tuned, subscribe, and never miss a chance to uncover your fortune with us. Because here, every coin has a story, and every story can lead to treasure.